Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. My name is Johnboy. It is Johnboy time. This is a show about weirdos. I am joined, as ever, by BJ Jizzy Jeff. Of course, it is Delroy Himbo, Aaron Joseph Peta.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. You've heard both of those before.
I got one for you.
Do you?
Johnny Coxville.
Yeah.
Horan Zevon.
Okay.
Salvador Daddy.
That's okay. Salvador Daddy. All right. Not bad.
So that's what I got right now.
It's no Delroy Himbo, I'll tell you that.
Delroy Himbo's pretty good.
Yeah.
What about Tiny Fister?
Oh, I like that. Hold me closer, Tiny Fister.
Yeah.
It's like a carny thing.
You got knocked the fuck out.
Deep. Yeah. And, of course, to your right, my left, is the Frenchman Handsman Matt Brousseau, the Cape Cod Gape God, I understand.
Yeah,
That's really the best one.
it's really
The Cape
really
Cod
good.
Gape God is really just like
Just fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a.
The goat of Goatsy. We talked about that before.
Oh yeah. Next, I think that's
I'm the goat, see?
Remember, next Patreon, I'll tell you guys all about Goatsy.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You are the Lemon Party
Chairman.
blooper. You know Lemon Party?
Yeah.
Okay, what about Tub Girl, if you believe in gender?
Oh, no, I don't know that one.
You know
I
Tub
don't-
Girl? Yeah, you know Tub.
I'm probably good without knowing.
You know
Oh,
Tub
really?
Girl.
If there's a tub involved, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a tub involved. Yeah.
God.
Overtime.
It's kind of a background character, but it is also essential to the
Yeah,
scene.
it's more of the canvas.
I bet it is.
It's projectile diarrhea.
Cool.
You spilled
Kind of like a geyser.
Okay. You said I don't want to know.
Well, I'm not showing it to you yet.
All right.
Just picture it.
Hey, tell me I know it.
Yeah.
Here, you know Tub
Come on.
Girl.
You've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Okay, I guess.
You love it.
Shut up. Never saw Two Girls, One Cup. I escaped that one.
Oh, I mean, these ones were just websites.
No, yeah.
Tub Girl was just a
The
still.
Willpower was a great one.
Which one is that?
That's the one where they're playing the Orgasmo song. That's like, now you're a man, and the guy's sucking in his own dick with a backwards hat on. Because he has the willpower.
Right, but it's just a picture, right?
It's like it's an animated GIF.
Yeah.
And it's screaming that song out of your speakers while it happens, too.
Oh, thank God.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so am I.
I got my friend Ellen Johnson from Wisconsin to look at it on a school computer once. She was very upset with me.
Ellen Johnson
Yeah.
from Wisconsin.
Yeah. She was quite perturbed.
Well, that's Wisconsin.
Imagine being at college and you're watching a guy suck his own dick while that song is screaming and everybody's turning around and you just look nuts. I was really proud of that moment.
Well, I mean, you were sucking your own dick.
No, it's not me sucking my
I
own
know.
dick.
You
but
don't
it'd be cool
usually
if it
wear
was.
hats.
Now I'm sucking my own
Yeah.
dick about the moment.
Yeah. Tilt your mic up a little bit.
And turn your hat backwards.
Yeah, you said it.
You don't want the brim to hit the shaft.
I'll put some shades on. We've been blessed, gentlemen, with a Discord, unofficial official Discord by the patrons on Patreon. Of course, Patreon, extra episode of the PP Boys, one per week, an extra 4 per month, and we have a whole bunch of fun. We made a new stupid character last week. That was real fun.
Yeah.
We did the kind of
The Russian, Soviet version of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Doc and Marty. Yeah.
You just got to go.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
yeah.
bust it out after a couple of seltzes.
God, it was really fucking stupid.
It was very dumb.
Yeah.
And,
But so the Discord server, if you join the Patreon, there's a different link posted per month by Phil and Vera and who else is in charge over there?
Stumblebird.
Stumblebird.
And
who
Skip.
yeah.
Skip.
And please post another one. The one that I tried is expired.
Oh, right. Well, stop with the hard sell.
Well, guys, I mean, this stuff's in high demand. It's, it's
You just decided to log in right now.
as soon as I heard about
And
it.
now the link doesn't work.
As soon as I heard about
You
it.
heard about it on the last Patreon.
I didn't know that there was a link.
We opened up the last Patreon. We're talking about it.
I know that now. My turn.
I did watch 8 Million Ways to Die last night, 1986. Jeff Bridges, Roseanne Arquette.
Mm-hmm.
And he straight up said, I know that now. And I was just like,
I know that now.
You weren't there. And I was like, man, I wish Aaron was here so we could share this moment of just bad exposition writing.
I know that now, and my turn are just like.
My turn is
my turn.
My turn is real bad.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
It's
I hope one day I get into some sort of, let's say, a firefight with lasers or something like that.
Yeah.
And I will be damn sure not to say my turn.
You know when the only time my turn is good is?
When you're playing Monopoly?
No. What?
Well, it's his turn.
Yeah.
I'm so baffled by the stupidity of the question. When Harvey Dent says it in The Dark Knight, it's when he points the gun to shoot himself.
Yeah.
Because my turn is always used as
I'm gonna get you now.
I attack you, you attack me a bunch.
Yeah.
And then once you're done, I get ready to attack you, and I say my turn. That's how it's always used in this.
But they flip it on its head.
They do. They flip it on its own face. And
Nice.
And it's great because he's looking at the gun and he's just going like, my turn. He looks all fucking nuts. It's great.
Yeah.
That's the only good use of my turn.
Mm-hmm. Or myturn.gov, which would allow you to get your vaccines.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
My turn. Yeah, wow. They really made us fucking consumers in that one. My turn.
Yeah, exactly.
My turn. My God, they have to make it selfish for us to want to save our own lives.
Yeah.
It's my turn. Gentlemen, I was talking to my friend the handsome Joe Latchett.
Hey.
Oh. Nice guy.
Yes.
Latch it up.
And he goes, I think this might be more of a Matt profile. I was like, oh, what, you mean like it'll be better if he does it? Fuck you, Joe.
Hey, nice guy.
Hey, fuck you, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
I really got to say I enjoyed this conversation, but I really got to say fuck you, Joe. But I got really into the story, which I think he got from a book for his son, the very handsome Wilson Joseph Latchett.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a neat, fucking like heartwarming story. But then I got really into the background of it, and it's a great counterpoint to, of course, the 3-part series we did on the aviator Howard Hughes.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Philanderer.
Mm-hmm.
Billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Drug addict.
This would be the polar opposite of that. And it is about the two gentlemen that were the first to fly across country as black aviators with $25 in their pocket, leaving Los Angeles. And
For a nonstop, like the first to fly cross country nonstop.
oh, they had to stop. There was no money.
No money?
So there.
Well, the planes don't run on money.
But gas costs money.
That's what I'm getting. So
Did you think they had air support?
Well, that's why I'm getting. That's what I'm getting.
You thought there were other planes keeping them afloat in the air.
Well, some planes have the tanks.
Yeah. No, this is way back.
That's why I'm curious.
I know. Just save your stupid questions for like 2 minutes in.
Well, explain them.
You have to explain them.
Well, I mean, sometimes they're like, "Oh, the first nonstop flight across country." I mean,
No, it's not nonstop. I never said it was nonstop.
right? Okay.
So there's no like you can't even like learn to fly as a black man, you know. And
Well, you can't have him flying. In this country?
unless it's war.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is what 1920.
This would be when they would leave Los Angeles, it would be 1932.
Got it.
Okay, and the James Herman Banning, he was just into it from the Wright brothers, you know, growing up, and he was in no flight school, of course, is going to let a colored man, and you basically could grab, like a white teacher, right? And so he did that. And then you could get some like one-off gigs, doing say if you're taking around like politicians or something like that. I think he flew the first elected black member of Congress.
Okay, that makes
sense. And but before all this was the first colored woman, right? And she flew like an old Jenny plane, right?
What's that?
The
biplane type of thing?
JN-14, I think it was. But yeah, that was Bessie Coleman.
Okay.
And so basically like a flight society to get black folks more into aviation at the time was launched in her name after she died in a plane crash. But she came up in this would be like 21. She went to France to learn because she couldn't learn here.
Right.
And that was kind of bankrolled by the publisher of the Chicago Defender.
And
a black newspaper.
Out of Chicago. And so...
And it's like, it's right after World War One.
Right. And so that's a thing where, there was... The Chicago Defender also just gets, like, in this time, this rep as, the first big black paper. And then it's like, it's going down to the South because it's news for black people, right? And all these people are getting out of, the KKK's way and the Jim Crow South and, still horrible segregation and stuff. And so then it has opportunities for people that are like black business owners in Chicago because then they're like, one of the guys who started one of the first black banks also paid for her to go to France and learn how to fly because he owned property. And then all these black folks are coming up from the South, and then he's able to, fill all of his apartment buildings and like businesses and stuff, you know?
Yeah, it was a great migration around that time.
Yeah. It was just great.
It was.
and what was how did she get into flying? I mean, what was it that made her so, did she reach out to these folks to like ask to get to France to fly, or like what was it that made her famous or
she was
note?
She kind of bounced around from like Oklahoma, which was still not even a state then, and Texas, sharecroppers in Texas. I think she got to go to college for like one term before like her money ran out and she had to go home, and like I said, she's like a quarter I believe Cherokee. And then her mother was black, and her dad was half black. 13 kids, 9 survived, and they went to Waxahachie, Texas. Lived as sharecroppers, and she was she would walk 4 miles to school. It was a 1-room segregated still classroom.
I want you to picture an imaginary line.
Yeah,
right down the middle of the classroom.
And
nothing is too absurd for segregation.
Yeah,
and she excelled at math. She was extremely gifted, and the dad George went back to Oklahoma to get more work, and the family did not. And she was accepted into Baptist Church school on scholarship. So then, she went to the Oklahoma Colored Agricultural and Normal University in Langston, Oklahoma.
Normal.
And did 1 term. And then she went to Chicago when she was 23. That's 1915. She lived with her brothers. And she worked as a manicurist at the White Sox barbershop. And then she heard about the flying going on in World War I. And she took a second job managing a chili parlor to save money.
You got every kind of chili you want here.
Yeah.
And if you get it under your fingernails, boy, do I have the place for you.
Yeah. And again, you can't be a woman, and you can't be, native. You can't be. She's all of it. You know what I mean? And so it was Robert S. Abbott, who is the founder and publisher of the Chicago Defender. He also got sponsorship for her to go and learn in France from Jesse Binga, who was a huge property owner, and he owned like the first black bank like in Chicago, you know, he kind of like later on had some stuff because then, you know, don't forget the Depression's coming. Everything's going to go belly up. He had just invested in like a huge like office suite. And meanwhile, his tenants that he's getting reliable rents from, they're losing their jobs.
Right.
But, you know, like all those things too. Like so there's some people that were his tenants that were like, oh, he was a mean old miser. And you go like, well, I mean, maybe if any good businessman is, I don't know. Yeah. But then other people, when he was kind of like disgraced and accused of embezzlement, because also like this is another thing too, where like even though this is the safest place probably to be a black person in America, in Chicago, it's still not safe at all.
Right. Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And so like his premises would be attacked all the time. You know, he had enough money where he moved into this is Jesse Benga, and he moved into like a wealthy white neighborhood. But when, you know, he was accused of embezzlement and stuff like that, there was a hung jury first, and later on he was completely exonerated. But a lot of his tenants and stuff came out in support of him, and were just like, yeah, this is total bullshit. But so, yeah, they paid for her to go learn how to fly. And so she learns in France, in Paris, in a biplane, and she said it was basically a steering system that consisted of a vertical stick the thickness of a baseball bat in front of the pilot and a rudder bar under the pilot's feet.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
So what? Left and right with your feet.
Yeah.
And up and down with the joystick.
Pitch and
Yeah.
yaw.
Yes. Very good.
And so she's, I think, the first credited black woman and first Native American at all to hold an international pilot's license.
Huh.
In 1921. And so then, yeah, she went to like another great French pilot, like a fucking stellar pilot, right?
Très bien.
And she took 2 more months of lessons, and then she went back, and then like the media kind of went apeshit. And she, you know, like again, like there's still no commercial flight, and this is kind of like a funny thing just to think about flight at all. But it's like
It was brand new shit.
it's brand new shit.
Only for war, and then maybe by this time mail.
I mean, and everybody doing it is basically a daredevil.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that she had to become a stunt person.
Yeah.
And there's a funny thing there, right? Where you go like, it's a weird thing that the coming age of commercial flight, when you know, guys like you and me, sheer paupers, are eventually going to be able to get on a plane
And assault a stewardess because you don't want to wear a mask.
Right. And then never be allowed to fly again.
But in the meantime, in the run up to that, you know, like I said, it's still like a decade away. In the meantime, your interaction would be go to see stunt people.
Yeah.
Right.
So in that weird way, seeing them do crazy stuff and not die would work its way up to making you feel safe to go up there.
Yeah.
It's like, as long as they're not doing figure eights and fucking loop-de-loops, I'm probably safe.
You think like the first meal, it's just shaking so much that it just like falls all over the ground.
Without a doubt.
You know?
Yeah. That happened to me in like 1996. 94. That happened in 94.
Yeah.
I remember they're trying to serve, it was a goddamn
Hot soup.
yeah. It was a propeller plane, and they're trying to serve like breakfast with OJ. The carts are flying up and down the aisles.
Yeah.
Fucking the stewardess is like on the floor. I was like, we're good, we're fine.
Yeah, when you're in those
We'll wait.
twin prop puddle jumpers, boy, don't just juice boxes.
Yeah, juice
That's
box.
it.
Yeah. And tape it under the seat.
Yeah, it can be used as a flotation device in case of an emergency.
You have to blow it up when you're done with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So she you know, was ready to go. It wasn't like, you know, she didn't want to be fucking Evel Knievel, but she wanted to excel in aviation, right? So that was the one place you could go.
Sheevel Knievel.
And so again, nobody will teach her. So she goes back again to Europe, right? And she 2 months in France again, and then she goes to the Netherlands to meet Anthony Fokker.
Oh yeah, very famous name.
Do you know?
yeah, the Fokker name.
Of designing aircraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fokker.
Oh,
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, she visited the Fokker Corporation. She got additional training from one of their pilots, and then she came back. She was known as Queen Bess. And
Cool.
next 5 years, huge draw. And talking to the papers, and she's liked by black people and white people, right? And she's doing the Jenny planes mainly. That's a Curtiss JN4. I said 14 earlier, and it was leftover aircraft from the First World War.
Mm-hmm.
And the first show she did, September 3rd, 22, it was honoring veterans of the 369th Infantry from World War I, all black infantry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was held at Curtis Field in Long Island. And what happened there?
No, everything's good.
Oh, okay. And it was sponsored by the Defender newspaper, and she was billed as the world's greatest woman flyer. And there was another guy that I'm going to get into in another profile, because that's where I was like, oh my god, this is a real crazy son of a bitch, which is the most fun thing about doing this show.
Yes, yeah.
So when you're like, oh, man, I found this
guy.
Yeah. This guy would fly with shoes on his hands.
Yeah, hot dogs for fingers.
6 weeks later, she goes back to Chicago. She's doing a show honoring the 370th Infantry Regiment. And she's doing figure eights, loops, going near the ground, dipping up, and they're going ape shit. And
she's not dead. All right.
She she still wanted more, and but she would be criticized by the press.
She's too much of a showboat.
Saying she was opportunistic, and it's like, what, the opportunity to die every day? Like, what are you talking about?
How dare she take these paying gigs?
And being too flamboyant.
Yeah.
It's sheer, like, somebody's got to hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This.
It's some fat white guy on the ground.
I don't like when the teams hit home runs in baseball.
Yeah, I don't like when the basketball players pass behind their back.
Yeah,
The basketball, they're too showboaty.
Yes.
But that's the thing too, is that, like, there's the person like Bess who is going like, I have to be the best stunt pilot.
Yeah, exactly.
In order to get
Any recognition.
and get my whole fucking race or gender of people ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go like, oh, well, you're too showy. And you're like, what the fuck am I going to do here?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was, coming in third all the time.
Yeah, when if she doesn't do it, they go, "Oh, look at you. You're kind of lazy. You're not even doing anything." And then you.
So in L.A., she broke a leg and 3 ribs when she crashed in 23. And she would talk to black folks all over the country about pursuing aviation as a means to kind of get black folks ahead in the country and encouraging them to get involved with it. And she would not do a show if black folks couldn't come.
Nice.
And that was like where the opportunism was, you couldn't say.
Yeah. I'll turn down a show.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's
so
called principle.
And so she ended up opening up a beauty shop in Orlando with this couple that kind of took her in from the another Baptist church, and she had a lot of media pull, and she was offered a role in a feature called Shadow and Sunshine. And it was to be financed.
Mm-hmm.
It was to be financed by the African American Seminole Film Producing Company. And she accepted, and she thought, it would give her some money to start her own flying school. And then she was like, oh, the first scene is like, she's got to be like in hobo clothes and a walking stick and
Teeth blacked out.
a stick with a knapsack. And she was just like, no, not doing it. So it was like anything she thought was going to like set black people back. She was just like, oh, no fucking way.
Yeah, like I'm a famous pilot, and now I'm going to play a hobo.
They still put blackface on her.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Really bad
yeah.
taste.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was in 26. She was in Jacksonville. She had purchased another Jenny in Dallas, and her publicist flew the plane from Dallas in preparation for an air show, and had to make 3 forced landings along the way because the plane had been so poorly maintained. And so they were like, "Please don't fly it, Bess," and she refused.
She refused what, to fly it or to not fly it?
Oh yeah, to not fly it.
Yeah.
And no,
She refused to not fly it. She demanded to
She
fly.
demanded to fly. I mean, I imagine like these old planes, man. Like, the engine, not great, of course, but the
paper wings.
the structure of it. It's those old cars are just
heavy steel. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and so she crashes the plane and just breaks some bones, maybe because it's not going that fast, but also it's this giant pile of metal. In some ways, it's kind of like, is that safer? Like the way the old cars were kind of safer?
I don't think they were giant piles of metal. I think it was like barely held together with popsicle sticks and twine.
Didn't we talk about the different types of wood and stuff?
Oh, with
these wooden planes? I mean, what?
Maybe the wings.
Okay.
I would assume.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of it was wood, or like just
not like spruce goose level.
Sure,
right, but just very like light frames and canvas.
Right, because the engine's not strong enough to get everything up.
Yeah, a lot of canvas and shit.
Canvas, sure. Okay.
But so she was supposed to do a parachute jump the next day in the show. And she wanted to get a look up at the land from up there. And so 10 minutes in, it went into a dive and a spin 3,000 feet above the ground. And she was thrown out at 2,000 feet, killed instantly hitting the ground.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
And this guy regained control of the plane. Oh, no, he did not regain control of the plane. Sorry. And so he goes, the plane explodes, and a wrench was found, like it had used to service the plane, and it was just jammed in there somewhere.
Someone threw a wrench in the gear.
It was literally a wrench, and she was 34, and it was mainly just a like a huge story in Chicago, African American circles. William J. Powell, who is in the First World War. In a segregated unit, he was always pushing black aviation, and he named the Bessie Coleman Society going forward, the society that would kind of promote aviation amongst black folks and would draw our 2 heroes from our story coming up. But he wrote a book called Black Wings in 1934, and he dedicated that to Bessie Coleman as well.
Man, how fucked up is it? Like, why? I mean, Amelia Earhart is, of course, she's famous, but
because she lost.
Not even a mention.
Oh yeah, none.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, the thing is like, even when it comes to like Jesse Binga or whatever, it's like the thing is like, yeah, he came to Chicago with like $10 in his pocket, and like all these stories are kind of like that. It's like nobody's got anything, and they achieve so much with so much violence and hatred thrown against them. And just lack of opportunities, and this thing of like, there's always like, there's always like, when people are like, oh, you have to protect free enterprise, and it's always something about like not making a gay guy a cake.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so often the thing was like, it was the right of free enterprise was to stop others having the right to enterprise.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, well, I don't have to teach black people to fly. Yeah. It's like, you don't want the fucking competition.
Yeah, it's against my beliefs to have competition.
Yeah, like it's like you're totally like, you can't act like you're for enterprise.
Yeah.
It's not about enterprise, it's about you sucking.
Yeah.
Right. And then like here's the thing, like if you make that guy teach people he doesn't like how to fly, man, you go learn somewhere else, because that guy's gonna teach you all the wrong shit.
Yeah, you're gonna know he's a shitty teacher.
Yeah, I don't want to learn from you anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
So you just kind of have to.
Well, if it's flying, you can't really fake that.
I don't know, man.
I mean, he's got to get the plane up and down.
Yeah, he can teach you how to just get up.
Yeah, maybe.
He'll be like, put the wrench here.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, hit the red button.
Yeah. Fuel? Fuck it.
You don't need fuel where we're going.
Yeah. You got any
get
banana peels?
Once you get up, you just
Got any
glide.
banana peel?
Throw it in the Mr. Coffee.
All right, let's take a quick break. I just wanted to get into a little backstory on Bessie Coleman and some of the people that are behind these stories, because it's just like this whole very loose patchwork thing, and like just impossibly hard to get into.
Yeah.
And people just demanding the way to fight their way into it.
Yeah.
Is so incredible to me. You know, and
it's kind of one of those things where, like, because it was so dangerous, that it's almost like it may be one of the few things that were like
open
available.
To them. Yeah.
Not only that, it was one of the few things where, like, if you came down out of that machine, white people were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
Well, I can't say she's not good anymore, and she's not.
right, you know."
Even though, of course, they can
Yeah,
find an
well-
excuse they wanted to, but
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, you know, what I'm saying, like, it's
once you give them the flight, once they have the skies, what are we gonna do? Next, they'll want to vote.
He'll migrate all over the place.
yeah, it's a thing where it's like,
Can't segregate the skies.
I mean, where do
mean,
you draw the line?
Chemtrails.
but
That's what chemtrails are.
that's the thing that's so.
You're gonna want to imagine a line right down the middle of the sky.
The thing that's so fun about it, though, is that, like, yeah, it is that thing where, like, you know, they're like, "Oh, Howard Hughes, he just felt so free in the air." It's like, oh, not when he was buying hotels and could go anywhere he wanted and do anything and date any Hollywood starlet.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like these folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, like, it was a thing where you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is freedom."
Yeah. There's no cop going your headlights out. You know, there's no one up there to tell
Not
them that they
yet.
can't go. And,
Yeah. Howard Hughes wasn't really going like, "Oh man, do we really have to land?" Whereas, like, these folks are going to be like, "Where are we landing again?"
Yeah.
Because that's pivotal.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Is this a sundown airport?
Looks
No.
we're gonna have to keep flying west where the sun has not set yet.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to make a left at the burning crosses.
Yeah. Plus, I hope it's windy because we're out of fuel and money. All right, we'll be right back, folks. And we're back. So, we're gonna be talking about Mr. Manning, of course. He is Banning. Excuse me, Manning. He's James Herman Banning, and like I said, he grew up with the Wright brothers. You know, just a love of aviation. You know, same thing. He would, hear about, World War II, and, the Charles Lindbergh is a hero. There's all that stuff going on, and he just always wanted to do it. Was not allowed to do it. He did have a mechanic shop in Ames in Iowa, and he was just enthusiastic about it. And William J. Powell, the veteran who started the
Queen
Bess
Bess.
Coleman Society for Aviation, he lured him and a gentleman named Thomas Cox Allen, out to Los Angeles, and they had heard basically there was going to be some sort of a prize for the first person to fly from coast to coast, But in general, they just thought like it would be a great way to advance black aviators, and so why not do it, right? But here's the thing: you can't just buy a plane, right? So he kind of like cobbled it together. He had like a 14-year-old engine, and he made it, with his mechanical know-how from having a shop and all that, and just being a fan of aviation. But this thing was a real piece of shit, right? I believe their compass was always 30 degrees off, right?
That's how you. Well, then it's right.
Then-
Wait, if it's always 30 degrees off,
exactly.
then it's doing
Right.
just fine.
Exactly.
So him and Thomas C. Allen are actually introduced by Powell like 4 days before they take off on this flight together. And Allen is more the mechanic, and Banning is more the pilot. And they were in an Alexander Eagle Rock biplane. It was this orange and black plane. Pretty cool color scheme, right?
I mean, do you know anything about how different these planes were, or anything like that? Because I
Compared to
the other planes of that era, like what is the difference between the Eagle Rock and the Jenny and the
I mean,
the Jenny was earlier by
but
50,
not much,
15
but you're
years.
still talking about the like. It's not come very far from the Wright brothers.
sure.
But
It's just an engine
you can see it from the Wright brothers to World War II, right?
Right.
They still have the biplane, like the two sets of wings, that sort of thing.
You mean World War One?
World War
World
One,
War
excuse me.
Yeah.
And they're just like this is really thrown together.
What year is this?
When they take off, it's 32.
Okay, so you said he was he grew up on the Wright brothers and World War II, but you meant World War One.
World War One, excuse me. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course. And yeah, now this is very shortly after Best Coleman.
Right.
And they were like fucking just let's do it. And it was just like a rumor of some kind of a prize. I don't even think that was like a definitive fact.
Mm-hmm.
They were just like, let's go for it.
Well, in those days and age, everything was a rumor.
Right.
And everything had a prize.
Everything had a prize.
Maybe in
That's
a Cracker Jack box
That's
or your
right.
Ovaltine, but fuck.
But so they had this thing where they're kind of faced with this problem of like, well, chances are we fail, right? So if we win, we'll let them tell it. But like, we're not going to announce at the beginning, like, hey, we're going for it.
Right, we're just gonna show up there.
So when they take off, there's 4 people at the airport, which is Dicer Airport. Yeah,
Which is in those
I
days.
don't think it's there anymore. If
Yeah.
it's in LA,
Los Angeles.
it probably was in the valley somewhere.
DYCER.
It was probably just a field in the guy's backyard.
Yeah, it was
man.
probably a field in Pacoima.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the people even like the 4 people on the ground are like,
What is that?
fuck are they doing?
Right. And so this is after Lindbergh had done his flight.
Yeah.
So
What did he do? 31?
I think 27.
Oh shit.
I think
Totally.
27 he had done stuff.
The flight to Paris.
Right. So, but nobody had ever flown across from coast to coast in the States yet.
Oh no, they had.
But so this was
just
a prize, like a prize.
This is just like guys that shouldn't even like Banning was, like I said, like he had a commercial flight license. But that just meant like, basically he, like I said, he
He
kind
could
of
fly a politician or
yeah, he could fly a politician around. He could do the stunt shows or whatever. But yeah, to even like get a plane, he really kind of couldn't. So it was really like him scavenging from crashed planes, and then he just made his own.
right. Frankenstein it.
I mean, could it have been like just set the new record for fastest?
Well, they would have been no, it wasn't even about fast. It was just about getting it done.
Okay,
Because it had happened, I think the first coast to coast had already happened like 10 to 20 years before or something. Like,
But this was just a prize for, hey, the next person that can do it type of thing.
Right.
yeah, it was 27, Aaron, you're right. That's very good.
For which was it, Lindbergh?
For Lindbergh, yeah.
It was a big year. I remember that from Bill Bryson's book.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so they were just kind of like, we're just gonna be like the first, black aviators to do it. But it was huge because they're not allowed.
Yeah.
They're not even allowed to learn.
Right.
And it's a crazy thing too, because this is still after Bess Coleman, and you go like, I'm watching her do figure eights and almost hit the floor, and over and over again, and she's a woman and she's native, and they're not still allowed. No.
Well, you see what happens when they learn? Someone throws a wrench in it.
Right. Yeah.
It's very.
But so, Thomas C. Allen has the brilliant idea where he goes like, because they have $25. Right. And I think maybe like Powell had sponsored like $200 that just went into the plane.
Mm-hmm.
But they leave the ground with $25.
Mm-hmm.
And it's insane. Like from the giddy up. It's really, really nuts.
Not a smooth ride, you say?
It is not at all. But he had the idea. He goes, because, and Aaron, this was so interesting to me about it. They kind of are like faced with the Green Book problem. So the whole route is based on friendly areas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And not only that, but like places where we think we might have relatives where we might be able to get money to keep going.
Yeah. So they got to.
So it's the zigzaggiest silliness.
Oh, wait a minute. I got an uncle two hills over.
Right. And 3 hills over will get lynched. So like.
Did you say 2 or 3? I can't hear you.
Yeah. So it's, fucking pretty terrifying shit, right? And
You in Lovecraft country now.
I guess there was luckily Alan, left behind some kind of a manuscript, and I'm pulling heavily in this from quite a few things, but especially the Smithsonian's article about it in their magazine. Cool. But so yeah, like the minute they take off, they're like they're going to Arizona, and now you know the seaworthiness of this thing, right? And they said, and Banning would later write articles in newspapers about it too. And he said it was put together with various cracked up airplane parts. Instruments were unreliable, including a compass that was off by 30 degrees. The biggest worry was the airworthiness of the crate. And
yeah, important.
That would be a worry, wouldn't it?
And he goes, the final destination was a continent away, and they'd left with $25. And when they landed in Yuma, they would be out of money. And so
you don't see a lot of guys flying.
Would they lose the money in the air?
Whoa!
Oh, just refueling.
Yeah, okay.
But then the idea that Alan had was he goes like, we'll basically crowdfund it. And what we'll do is we'll get everybody to sign what he called the gold book, which is the wings of the plane.
Mm-hmm.
So in this way, it was like everybody,
you're all a part of it.
You're all a part of it, and also like everybody's kind of prayers.
Yeah.
Usually,
a wing and a prayer, as they say.
Very nice.
Yes, and they said they called it the Hallelujah flight because it was like.
You ever have a guy land in your backyard and ask you for money?
Boy, if I had a plane for every time that happened.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so wild, man, because like the family, the family is interviewed, and like a bunch of them are still in aviation, and it's just, I mean, fucking so wild. But yeah, so these two guys, they had gone to William J. Powell, I think in 1929. Oh no, that's when Powell started the club. They had met 4 days before. Like I said, they left in 1932, and so Powell had lured Banning out there, saying like, you're going to be the chief pilot, you're going to be showing people how to fly and stuff like that, because he was commercially licensed. And they, I think in 31, Powell put on the first, it was all black air show, and 15,000 people showed up.
Jesus,
that's fucking insane. And so then he was just like, okay, now we've got interest in black aviation, and so they basically, like, a bunch of these guys are like, they're throwing it together last minute, and like everybody's getting kind of like frustrated with everybody. Like, are you gonna be able to do it? Are you not? Like, nobody has faith in each other, but they also think themselves are like able to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to get two guys together to like trust each other. And these guys were just thrown together like 4 days before. So they're on their way to Yuma, And then the plan is to go to Texas and then Oklahoma and then through the Midwest, right? You know, and then go to New York. And they were like, maybe, you know, we'll get some people to throw us a place to crash. Maybe they'll
A place to sleep.
Yes,
They're right.
yes,
Yeah. And a meal, right?
When you're in an airplane, every place is a place to crash.
It's always a place to crash.
Right. And they were like, you know, there's no choice. Like, this will not succeed without the support of black segregated communities on the ground. Like, full stop. It
Right.
like it won't.
And you can't see those lines from the air. So,
And so he said in Powell's book, he said, "Gee, we'll be just like hobos begging our way."
Mm-hmm.
And so they called themselves the Flying Hobos. And it was like this thing where it was like, you know, kind of like the chutzpah of it. It was like a big part of it, you know? And so they would, they were like, yeah, if he fails, nobody will know. If it succeeds, we'll let others fucking, we'll let the Chicago Defender talk about, look at these fucking badasses. And so it's going towards Yuma, and he goes, Alan said, it got so hot, I took off my overalls and unbuttoned my shirt. The water boiling in the radiator and the slipstream from the propeller was blowing it through a hole in the cowling. So it's just boiling water hitting you inside. And so they touched down in this airport, and the attendant recognizes Banning. And he goes, aren't you the guy that landed here and blew a tire 2 years ago? And he goes, yeah. He's all insane looking.
just stumbling out of it.
No shirt, overalls off, skin peeling off.
Don't mind my naked friend. And the guy, and he goes, I remember you made a 3-point landing before you hit a pothole in the runway. And he goes, your accident is the cause of us having a proper runway here now. And
wow,
a pothole in the runway.
And Banning, without fail, just goes, that must be worth a tank of gas.
Hey, see, pal.
Say,
like
New runway, huh?
Oh, I'm a legend. Can I get some gas? You know. And so then they flew to Tucson.
I got a pothole in this gas tank here.
And they're like we're going from one beacon light to the other, and we land, you know, just after dark, and then they see gas dripping from the carburetor the next day, right? And they fix like this float that's leaky, and then they go into the desert, heat insane, right? And they go through the Apache Pass, going down towards El Paso. Fuel's almost out, and they go down to they set it down in southwest New Mexico, and they were completely out of money and stuck in a town called Lordsburg. Sounds great.
Well, maybe it's German founded. You know, maybe they're genial.
And they said, Alan said the population was mostly Mexicans and Indians.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, and when we told them we were trying to make a transcontinental flight, they said, we don't care what Negroes are doing. We have a hard enough time eating.
Take your magic car and get out of here.
And so Alan pawns a flying suit and a watch for $10 to a member, a rich guy named R.C. Hightower. And then he invites Mrs. Hightower to sign the gold book, right, on the wing. And she was just delighted to have her name on the way to New York.
I'm going to be in New York, R.C.
And then they said that they were flying Dead Reckoning, 200 feet above the brush, he said. And they said, Banning said it was the engine was rated at 100 horsepower, but I think some of them were dead.
It's still attached too.
And then they got to cross the El Capitan, right? And that is 8,000 feet. And it goes up like a watchtower at the southern terminus of this huge limestone castle wall. And there's no way to fly around the range, and they have they and still have enough gas to reach El Paso. So then this, you know, this squall just like is brewing up right in front of them, right? And they go straight into it. and the rain is beating the shit out of them, and they're looking for El Capitan's top, flying blind, can't see our own wingtips, he said. And he goes, let alone the ground.
Hey, you just have to pull up quickly enough.
And then he goes, we realized too late we're fools to fly through this without proper equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and he goes, if we stall or spin here, we're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just gradually go down, they get better visibility, and there's luckily not a wall to crash into.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get on the ground in El Paso, and they're 1,000 miles in, totally broke. And they sent a cable to a friend in California asking for $25. And then they're like, okay, we'll go towards Dallas. And they're flying along the railroad tracks. Okay.
Oh, okay, that's smart.
Right.
Just
And
usually
follow the train.
you know, hitch a ride on the train if you
Land on the train.
yeah, there you go.
it's going there
Right
anyway.
on the top.
And so then sometimes they would go between towns and land in these farm fields. And there would be these farmers like, what the
You
fuck?
just fucked up my maize. Means corn.
They could,
that is-
but they can actually see from the ground that there's two black guys flying too.
Yeah.
So they're like, what the
Don't
fuck?
land here.
And but then sometimes like they were like, come on in for a meal,
Sure.
you know?
But I mean, also, for these, for people, I'm sure maybe some of them heard about it in the news, or maybe there's like some black newspapers.
White folks would not.
Not the white
And
folks,
this-
certainly.
and this-
But, they could probably see this thing coming for a bit, depending on the visibility of the day. It's just this, maybe they hear it, but there's not a lot, like, what is that noise? That's the new noise to them, perhaps, right? There's something floating through the sky.
Oh,
Right, they see something in the distance and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And
oh
it
yeah,
gets
yeah.
Closer
I mean,
and closer.
the appearance of a plane, let alone flown by two black guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear it coming, and I mean, it's only one thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of other air noise around.
Yeah.
Boy, it's smoggy up there, isn't it? Oh.
But the thing is, and this is the thing too, is that we never underestimate Americans' abilities, regardless of any race or gender or anything. Americans just like motors and things that might fuck up and blow up.
Mm.
So they would even convince these farmers to like siphon fuel out of their tractors to get them back up in the air and going.
Oh, I bet these farmers, when they fucking took off,
Yeah.
that was the fucking highlight of their life.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, they're like, first of all, do you want something to eat? And then they'd be like, yeah, can we maybe get some fuel to get back in the air? And they're like, yeah, sure. I mean,
I'd love to
shit.
see how this thing works.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And
Real
like,
gearheads.
they're probably thinking like, how am I going to find out if these guys ever make it?
You're not
know?
going to believe this. These two color guys landed on my field, and then I gave them food, and then I put them gas, and then they flew off as if angels
Yeah.
in the air.
Yeah.
No balloons or nothing.
All right, Dad, we got a home for you now.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
Nobody will ever believe you.
I swear.
Yeah. So they go over into this Texas town called Wink, which is about as charmingly southern as you can get.
Oh, boy.
Y'all been to Wink before? I'll never tell. The really kinky stuff happens in Wink Wink. The kinky winkies. And they go to Wichita Falls, and Banning's wife, the in-laws are there. And so there's they go to the land of the airstrip, and there's a newspaper reporter there, and he's it's like, what the fuck are you? And they're like, oh, this is what the
It's
deal.
a newspaper. Yeah, what the fuck's going on?
yeah.
Oh, they go, what the fuck's going on? See?
Yeah, what's going on here, pal?
Who are you and where are you going?
You
What's
see
this?
this hat that says press on it?
Yeah.
I got a question.
Push it. Press. Stupid joke. So yeah, they spend the night with the Bennington in-laws, and when they go back to the airport the next morning, there is close to 1,000 people there.
Shit.
That's like the whole population.
Yeah.
And the local newspaper had put out a story, and they're going through the crowd to their own plane, and along the way, they're like, yeah, we're broke. And somebody goes, let's give them a little help. and then they get $125
Wow.
from the crowd sitting there. And again, it's 1932, folks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is not pretty.
No,
right?
but the two guys showed up with magic.
Right. And so they go to Oklahoma. Both of them have family there. Banning visits his brother in El Reno. Alan meets his mom in Oklahoma City. The next day, they knock on doors, asking people to help them basically just get black folks ahead by having this flight succeed.
Is this the beginning of the magical black man trope that you see in cinema so often?
I mean,
We just came out of the sky. We could perhaps.
well, the magical black man trope is supposed to be affecting white people.
Yes, it is supposed to be affecting.
Yeah.
It's supposed to, the whole white savior thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then the white people can say, "Well, see, we gave all this money to these white folk." Was it exclusively black folk that would come out?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in Oklahoma, you don't want to be fucking around.
That's true.
Still.
Yeah. So yeah, again, these people fucking pits of the depression still cough up, enough money to keep them going, and everybody gets their name on the canvas on the plane, right? And so then it goes back to even like black press and radio stations, and people start waiting for them to show up in the towns they're supposed to come to, right?
Right. So word begins to spread. It's
Yeah.
That's
probably mainly like Chicago Defender centric.
sure, but it still takes them like fucking half the country.
And then so they land in Tulsa, and William Skelly, who is a white oil man, he's waiting at the airport, and he wasn't a pilot, but he owned an airplane factory and a flight school, and he had put together the airport there. And he offers to fund them all the way to St. Louis.
I mean, that's
It's something.
something. Hey, I mean, see, it's white savior.
So yeah, I mean, all the way to St. Louis. I'm like, these guys made
But
it.
not an inch further.
I'm like, these guys made it to Yuma with boiling coffee in their face.
Stand up.
Holy God. We ran out of water.
No, that's hot. So let's say, sorry, here was. So St. Louis, everybody, thousands to meet the flying hobos.
Gosh, that's funny.
And
That's great.
a newspaper reports on their attempt to achieve this during the Great Depression. What will come of this flight and this record remains to be seen, but it is certainly stimulating that we have heroes who come to light in this very worst of times. And so in St. Louis, they're like, well, this fucking engine is done. It needs to be rebuilt. They don't have the money. They don't have to buy the parts. And but they knew people in town. And one was a teacher at a trade school. And he's like, the school would rebuild it.
And St. Louis, I mean, I think the part of the thing about I'll get you to St. Louis is that once you get to St. Louis, you'll find somebody. Because St. Louis was like the gateway.
Right.
And, a fucking hopping place.
It was a hopping place back then.
Yeah.
Well, plus they probably had to go to St. Louis anyway.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
so-
The spirit of St. Louis. I mean, it
Yeah.
was a hotbed for industry market.
I mean, if you're traversing the country,
you gotta go.
Oklahoma through Missouri is actually a pretty natural route.
Yeah.
Even if
So
you go
I think like there was like 41 hours in the air, and I think it was like 21 days was the flight. But then they go to Springfield, Illinois, to Indiana, and then they rest in Columbus for a few days, and then they're like, all right, I think we can do it. Engine begins shaking right after they take off, and they're like, this whole fucking thing is gonna fall apart, right? And they're like, oh, you gotta get down. And so they're over a forest, and Banning is just going, trees, bushes, stumps, like,
Tell me what you see, Banning.
yeah. And then there was a plowed field, and he landed it there, and
You're that guy.
Then
Just
they became the Plowed Boys.
Banning. I mean, the most glass half full guy goes, not a scratch on the ship.
Engine's about to explode.
And they're outside Cambridge, Ohio, and Alan slept beneath the wing, and Banning went back to Columbus, and he found an airplane parts supplier who told him to take anything you want on the house.
Wow.
And at this point, are they still limited to dealing with, segregated black only? Or
I don't think so, because now like some rich white folks have gotten involved.
right, they've got
and
some
stuff.
press, and
What's the press? Yeah.
and as they get further north and east, it's getting a little bit better. I would imagine.
Well, the thing is too is that the farther you go and the more signatures you get,
Hey, look
the
at
more
Right.
somebody named Don't Crash really wanted you guys to do well.
the more hope there is behind the thing. So then there's a thing where you
People
go,
being a part of.
yeah, you're a part of the story. So it's like this thing with like Kickstarter or whatever now, where you go like, this thing doesn't exist yet. My friend Meredith, she does a lot of the music stuff for Kickstarter, and she's like, it's kind of crazy in a way, because it's like this thing is like, we want this thing to exist, and then people will it into existence by pitching in,
And you're more likely to be successful if you already have some success behind you.
Right. It's kind of like the will to suck your own dick.
right, the willpower.
The willpower.
Yeah.
There's a momentum behind it.
Yeah.
Once you get.
And that's why the hat is just
all-
blown backwards.
Whoa.
So you're blown forwards.
So they were like, Alan wrote like, he's like, we're still flying, and he's like, but the closer we get to New York, the more we think we're just going to crash. Running out of the last drop of gas.
Shit.
And he goes, then came what he called one of the greatest stops of the whole flight. They land in Pittsburgh. They telephoned the offices of the Pittsburgh Courier, which is a huge black newspaper. And the publisher, Robert L. Vann, drove out to the airport and brought the pair downtown, where they were heralded like conquering heroes. Election day was approaching, so Vann took them to meet some state Democratic Party officials in town.
Nice.
Seeing a chance to exploit the young men's fame and airplane, party officials enlisted them to publicize Franklin D. Roosevelt's presidential campaign during their flight east over Pennsylvania. In return for dropping handbills supporting the Democratic ticket and writing first-person stories about their cross-country adventures, Vann and the Democratic Party to cover the men's remaining expenses, handle publicity for them, and pay to put the Eagle Rock back in shape for a return flight to California.
Holy
Wow.
So they took off with 15,000 leaflets. He goes, we were more than happy to throw them out of the plane to save weight. He goes, we just about completely littered Pennsylvania. And they fly outside Philadelphia, then to West Trenton for the last night on the road.
Roosevelt won the state 98%.
Around 8 in the crisp and sunny fall morning of October the 9th, they cranked the OXX-6 engine one final time. Old Saul seems to be smiling on our success, Banning thought. A little over an hour later, the two aviators circled the towers of Manhattan.
Damn.
Not long after, they looked down upon Banning, called the biggest thrill of our trip, our goal. I feel like looping the loop, he exclaimed. Fuck.
And then
They landed in I think it was Valley Stream in Long Island. Well, Long Island makes appearances in the Queen Bess story, and this.
Hey, Eagle Rock, we're over here in Highland Park.
That's right.
That was just the name of it. It didn't.
Yeah, no,
it was actually from Colorado.
Uh-huh.
It was Alexander Eagle Rock.
Interesting.
Yeah. But so it's a huge fucking deal, right?
Now, they got there. Other people completed this, or was the prize given away? What's the story there?
I don't even think there was a prize.
Yeah, it was just
along the way-
a call to
The
adventure.
prize was what you learned along the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. And I guess, it was a thing where they knew, like, okay, we have done, major things for black aviation here. But then they go home and Banning was in an air show 3 months later, I believe, and he was not allowed to fly the plane. And a white man from the Navy was, and he crashed them. And he killed them in front of like 1,500 people,
Oh my God.
like just a few months later.
That's a Navy for you. Terrible pilots.
Oh my God!
Okay, but because they were originally.
No, it was a thing where it was just like
Stick to the seas.
it was like Jesus Christ, like you still gotta like you just did this incredible thing.
Yeah.
With,
That Navy guy hated black people that much.
Yeah.
no, it was.
I know it was an accident.
Yeah.
It was.
No, it was totally.
I mean, you can also understand though, like maybe it's like, hey, don't worry, you don't have to fly. You're being paraded. It could have been.
oh yeah, I mean,
It seems like he just wasn't allowed to do it.
yeah, he was not. He was.
But
yeah.
that's okay. It's a way to see it half full.
He was
Yeah.
a Navy machinist. And yeah, it was because the Air Tech Flying School had refused use of the airplane by an instructor for banding, and they went up 400 feet. The plane stalled, tailspin, and yeah, hundreds of people watched this disastrous fucking craft. And he was actually pulled from the wreckage and wasn't dead and died an hour later at hospital.
Ugh.
But yeah, I mean, these fucking guys just like incredible, like sheer fucking tyranny of will and prayer, made this impossible thing happen.
And goodwill.
And goodwill,
Yes.
yeah. And just, but I mean, like against all fucking odds, man. Jesus Christ. Like, holy fucking shit.
And what a circuitous route. We're going to Arizona, and then New Mexico, and then Texas, and Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
and then Missouri, Kansas, Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
Illinois, Ohio,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Like,
No, I
you're
mean,
really
I think
going,
But the thing is, like, too, like what I'm saying, like green booking it and having it
Yeah.
be like, but the one benefit of that is like,
you more people hear about it.
oh, and no cops.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because the thing about that green book thing is like one cop. I don't care where it is. There's roads
Yeah.
and there's cops on roads,
Yep.
and that can fuck everything up.
Yeah, and where they're going, they don't need roads.
That's exactly right, man.
Yeah.
That's very, very good.
We are going. The roads are for
Well, we're going. Road needs you.
because you crash and then they put pothole fix. The road needs you to crash.
Can you imagine that there's a fucking pothole there in a runway and they're like, I don't know if we can ever fix this thing.
We
Thank
named-
God someone crashed into it.
We named this road after you.
Yeah.
He hit the one pothole in the runway. How did...
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing, too, where people remember dudes that showed up 2 years before. Hey, didn't you fuck up real bad here about 2 years ago? Yes, I did. We fixed all this shit because of your fuck up. Can I have gas?
I guess.
You bombed here at this club before, right?
No.
No, that was my brother. Same height, same
We
weight.
stopped serving alcohol for the guests after you bombed here before.
That was like the fucking thing, too, man. Like, oh, God, I think it's one of these things, like so miraculous in the book where you go like, I don't think he's lying. It's like in Patton's book where he goes like, he's talking about like, World War I. He's talking about going through some village in Italy. And he's like, some dude's chilling on like a stack of hay. He goes, World War II, I come through the same village. Same guy on the same stack of hay.
That's just kind of.
He's like, what the fuck?
This is what we're fighting for.
And the guy's going like, like remembers him.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
So funny. And Italian's like, I don't even know what side we're on, dude.
All these Italians look the same. I don't know if it was Mario or Luigi, but on the hay.
But yeah, like I was so fucking impressed with this whole thing because like to get in the air in the States, unless it's wartime,
Right.
just impossible. You gotta like, it's that Chris Rock bit of the black man has to leap in bounds what the white man can walk to.
Right.
Like, she had to go to France twice. What the fuck?
She probably had to take a boat there.
She did have to take a boat.
did
there.
have to take a boat.
Yeah.
I gotta go take a boat across the ocean so I can learn to fly.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like some sort of mythical story.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, you're like a fucking daredevil pilot. All right, we want to just in these rags
Yeah.
for this movie.
Yeah.
No.
We want you to do the opposite of the thing you do.
Yeah.
That Mitch
Like,
Hedberg joke.
yeah.
Oh, you're a comedian.
Right, yeah. Why don't you like live without dignity?
Can you cook?
Okay, I don't want to do that. Like, no, it'll make people sympathize with you. No, thanks. But yeah, these guys, man, they're fucking. I mean, just so upbeat, so happy.
Yeah, well,
So bold.
in a way, that journey. The first thing I thought of was kind of the first guy who was a pedestrian. Just like the town goes, there's a guy walking through here. we gotta see this.
Yeah.
The Morpheus is fighting Neo. Exuberance. You guys, check it out. This guy's walking in circles. Oh, let's go.
But so in these towns, like eventually when the news was coming, like they didn't know what day they were showing up. They were just like, someone tell us when there's something on the horizon.
Yeah,
and we'll all run out
when
here.
they're halfway through and expected.
Yeah.
It was like, and so that would be like a thing where, like, if they say it to the guy in Texas, it'd be like, oh, well, where are you going to go next? And it's like, well, we're going to go to fucking Oklahoma. And he'd be like, all right. And then it's going to be St. Louis. So then, like, those cables would go around, through the media or whatever. And then they'd be like, all right, well, just
listen,
look up,
Yeah.
But, I really love the idea where it's especially outside of the circle of black media, and then just white folks, like, just looking up and, like, just being like, oh, my God, there's two black dudes, like, that are about to land.
One of them is shirtless.
Yeah.
His overalls are all.
One of them is Harry Dean Stanton. Harry Dean Stanton going, are you an alien?
you've got a condition.
Yeah. I'm glad Joe hooked me up with that story. It was just so charming and just so sweet. And God, man, I was like so close to fucking tears the whole time I was reading about it because, like I said, I kept going back into like the banker that bankrolled, Bess going. And then I'm like, he's got every reason to complain and doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even after they came after him for embezzlement, they they got him out of jail and they gave him like a janitor job. He died totally like destitute, and meanwhile he had put so much back into the black community and stuff. But just like they're like successful black woman. Oh, she's too flamboyant.
Right.
Successful black businessman. Oh, he's a crook.
Right.
All right. And it's like, what the fuck can we fucking do, man? Like,
well, that's the whole thing. I mean, you gotta fight for your rights, but don't kneel.
What are you fighting?
Don't protest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't remind us that you don't have rights. Whatever you do, fight for your rights, but
Don't
just
make us feel so bad.
Yeah, just like what you have to do is everything, and also you're not allowed
Not
to
too much.
Yeah, hurt anybody's feelings while you do it.
All right. Yeah. It's like if you don't ask for it, you don't want it. But if you do ask for it, you're uppity.
Yeah, you're being a dick about it.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Stop being a dick about how you're treated poorly.
Yeah.
But also, like,
Speak up.
Speak up.
Yeah. And like, just, I mean, okay, well, I did everything outside. I taught myself. I made this plane myself. I went to France they taught me.
Yeah.
No problem over there. These fucking, pilots come back from the war and shit. Like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Yeah, I mean, even Baldwin goes to Paris. He goes, I had to go to Paris to realize who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I couldn't be myself over here.
Yeah.
I mean, and then that's in the fucking 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Talking about Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I'm talking about Alec.
Yeah.
No, Billy Baldwin, actually.
Oh, good.
Talking about Billy Baldwin. Yeah, he left me a dirty voicemail the other day.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he shot this person.
It's like, oh, you little pig, man. You little French pig.
Listen here, pig. Like.
Much more than what bacon tastes like. Talking about James Baldwin, of course.
Yes, the wonderful James Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like both of them dying, of course, in airplane crashes is, just fucking brutal, but it's like, it's just like how avoidable it was.
Well, not that. I mean,
so
flying was very.
Bess Coleman died in a plane crash, and then who else died in a plane crash?
Banning,
and then
the
what about the other guy?
Alan did not die.
What happened with him?
Oh, he would write memoirs later and stuff.
Choked on a sandwich.
No.
Good.
Yeah, because he was probably in a plane that was shaking around.
No, Thomas C. Allen. He was.
He sired a whole legion of pilots.
Well, yeah, and even like the Banning, the Banning family. Like I said, the Harts are like the descendants from Banning's older sister. They all got into aviation because of him, and it was just. I mean, it's so cool.
Yeah, if our hobo uncle could do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing too. Where these are guys that are like just from around the country. Like, think about they're like this fucking guy's in Iowa, and like this guy in California is like, come here, black people are flying here, and you just got like going on that. That's it. This is like fucking send a self-addressed stamped envelope, and yeah, you're into the same shit I'm into, like, and there's nowhere else to do it except for unless we do it ourselves. Like, what a fucking community, Yeah. And then it's like, okay, pretty soon after I get we're just gonna do it. Like, it's so fucking ballsy. I was like, here's this guy that you met 3 days ago. He's coming with you, and you're like, all right, okay, I guess. But yeah, let's see. Thomas C. Allen, I think, lived to a decent old age.
Thomas Cox Allen.
Thomas Cox Allen, that's right.
T.C. Allen got hit by a car.
Thomas Cox Allen is also one of the titles of my favorite.
Oh my God.
Gay pornos.
Yeah, he
Thomas Cox Allen's so good.
And it's Thomas Cox Allen. And Thomas and Allen are two different guys.
Yeah, Thomas Cox Allen.
Yeah.
Cox
he worked for Douglas in out here.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay.
And then he was a lecturer and a guide at the Oklahoma Air Space Museum. And
cool.
Him and Banning were honored in 1982. He was there.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he died in 1989 on September 11th.
What?
Coincidence?
Did he ever learn how to land?
Yeah, well, he was circling those towers in Manhattan according to his own memoir. He was like scoping them out.
Yeah, 12 years early.
Yeah, once King Kong died, it was a coincidence that planes crashed into him?
Oh,
Jesus, man. What the fuck
there's
are
a
you
lot
doing?
to unpack there racially.
I know, yeah.
No, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, and everybody says that.
Yeah.
What?
Good thing it's digitally confirmed.
No, because the planes are flying around. He
This is
kept the
posterity.
towers safe from all the planes flying around.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, and then... Jesus Christ.
We were just talking earlier about
The racial
aspect.
aspects of King Kong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
I've never... Okay, I mean, now that you mention it, yes, I see it. I hadn't thought of that.
Tarantino. I've been listening to a lot of Tarantino on podcasts, and so he was talking about basically that I don't know if it's like the actor or whoever does the puppeteer or like whatever. He's like these are not Kong's faces are human. Because in the
He's emoting.
in the posters it's all snarling, but also if you ever seen like an ape, like it's not how King Kong behaves. You know what I mean?
Right. Wait. So what do his
Apes
faces
rarely
do? Like,
climb skyscrapers. Rarely.
I know,
Well, that's a good
but
point.
I don't know. But no, it's just about showing that like he's always defending the white girl. She's never valuing it. Earlier on the island, they acknowledge Kong as like an intelligent being too, and they have this thing where basically like once a year they sacrifice a woman to be his wife, and that woman in the beginning is a black woman, and she's not scared. It's kind of seen as an honor to be a Kong wife, right? And then it's only when like the white woman is like, Rah!
Right.
that it's like a problem.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. I guess
So
like,
it has
when you mention it now, I put that like
Yeah, he's brought to America in chains, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It has the great distinction of being sexist and racist.
Yeah, it's a
it's great.
real double feature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's got some major Karen action.
Oh, yeah. I think the sequel to G.I. Jane that Jada Pinkett's going to be in should be called Major Karen.
Major Karen?
G.I. Jane 2, Major Karen.
God.
What?
Very nice. Very nice. Well, boys, did you enjoy that tale?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
and that what's that? Tail number is the number on the.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that number of a tail.
I would say fly with banding on the side of his plane too. It was pretty cool
Mm.
because it was just like.
Can we see the gold book? Like, are there pictures of the wings and stuff? I would imagine.
Is there a picture of the gold book? And so it was named Miss Ames for Ames, Iowa, where he was from. That was the name of
AMES.
Mm-hmm. Was there a buxom lady painted on it or something?
No, there wasn't any of that.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, you never know.
Some real frail, emaciated lady. It was the
It
depression.
was, yeah, he was
He was in a potato sack.
it was just actually a piece of bread.
Actually, I wonder if it's on display there.
At the Smithsonian.
I would
It's got to
wonder.
be. Come on.
I mean, but at the very least, like this, America's such a disappointing place in so many ways. Like the way the history, the way as a kid, like the history you take in, George Washington.
Here's the boys.
Hey, there they
Oh
are.
shit, that's
Cool jumpsuits.
yeah.
Yeah,
Especially when they open it up,
Mm.
get the chest out.
two very handsome lads.
Yeah.
Also, Bess Coleman, just this lovely
Mm-hmm.
lady, and just awfully cute. This is the most famous picture of Banning.
Oh man, nice.
I feel like I've seen that.
Similar photo to Bess Coleman's, and they got the leather helmet and
Yeah.
the aviation goggles
And
the shearling jacket,
yeah, the
vulture jacket,
what is it, like fucking wool kind
shearling,
of?
Yeah.
And so this would be on display at California Adventure.
Disney's California.
Yes.
Really?
When you're in line for the ride.
The caterpillar fly over the the really bad ride, but they got rid of eventually. California Adventure.
Let me see.
Remember we did the whole thing about how California Adventure used to suck.
Right. But the flyover ride they have now is the it's not VR, but it's almost like IMAX
Simulation.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, well, I guess it's crazy to think like they are just sticking their faces out of the window of a car that is driving fat. Like, I mean, have you ever put your face out of the plane is moving so much faster than cars were.
Are you talking about why they're wearing goggles?
They're just wearing goggles.
They have to.
I know, but I'm just saying, like that feeling
This is
has
still
got to be
this is still
Exhilarating.
This is still there. It's Soaring Around the World is the ride.
Mm-hmm.
That's the new one.
Okay,
That one's quite good.
a large photograph of Banning is displayed at the.
That's why I've seen it before.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't think I was there. Flight motion simulator attraction. So it's underneath is a brief summary of his achievements and accomplishments as a tribute to the Wings of Fame, a hallway where guests wait during the line to queuing the actual ride. Yeah, so that's where you can probably see that picture probably
For hours on end,
Yeah,
wait in line for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, we read that plaque 4, 5, 1,500 times.
yeah. And then
Really
fucking
taking
Alan
it.
living till 1989. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, holy shit.
Yeah, and all of us never hearing of any of them.
I know.
You know,
Oh, and then
We might have.
This next guy
I mean,
that is gonna explode out of this fucking thing, dude. Oh my god!
Iron Man?
Just the profile I'm gonna get out of this guy. I'm like, oh god, like it's a lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
Okay.
Touches a lot of corners, and like the jumping off point, I guess would be like black aviation in America,
Cool.
but then it goes everywhere, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Sell.
corners, aviation.
All of
Exciting.
the corners. I mean, because it's a flat Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me and you gotta get together on our one that we're gonna tackle together.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to do double teaming?
We're gonna double team one.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
It's fucking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fucking big bonanza for you. You're just gonna
It's going to be explosive.
Oh, it'd be like a finger trap
mm-hmm.
of a profile.
finger
Yeah.
cuffs.
What?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be Chinese either.
No, that's why I didn't say it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Finger cuffs don't have to be Chinese, Matt.
Yes, that's what I said.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Let's get out of here before we talk about Godzilla. All right, let's fuck off. I'm going to say goodnight. My name is John Fahey.
My name's Aaron Peter.
Never so.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Scarpins Avenue.